Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now April 11th of 2021, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2's finale, a lot of fans have been very excited about what both Jon and Dave really have up their sleeve when it comes to Star Wars. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing is for certain is that yes, we do know that both Jon and Dave are doing everything in their power to really bring Star Wars back the way it used to be before 2012, before when Disney took over Lucasfilm. Obviously, we all remember that famous interview by, of course, Kathleen Kennedy, where she's interviewing, George Lucas. She's talking with him of how she's going to respect the characters, respect his vision of Star Wars, and she really backstabbed him, sadly. She really betrayed the man, because we all saw what happened in 2014 where it was unveiled that they would no longer be using any of the story treatments by George and completely ignoring George Lucas's vision. It's very unfortunate that this actually happened over the past couple of years, from 2014 all the way until 2019 with The Rise of Skywalker's End. Now, looking ahead to the future, alright, thankfully Kathleen Kennedy is no longer involved on a creative scale for the most part when it comes to the new Star Wars shows. We're talking about Kenobi, Ahsoka, and others out there. She's only working on Star Wars The Acolyte, and that is it, thankfully. That's the only show that she is actually going to be working on a creative level until this June, which is when, of course, they're gonna begin to build the sets and get ready for filming this August. They're still trying to reach that 2022 release. Personally, I don't believe that they're going to be able to pull that off, but that's just my opinion. Now, moving on from all of this, what's really exciting all has to do with Gina Carano and exactly what's happening with Lucasfilm behind the scenes when it comes to themselves as a company. Now, what's really intriguing about this is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are developing their new Star Wars universe with shows like Kenobi, Ahsoka, and Andor, it's described that both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are making sure to create new Star Wars stories that will use many aspects of Star Wars legends. However, since Gina Carano got fired from Lucasfilm, many setbacks have been put in place for the Mandalorian show. It's described, however, that many at Lucasfilm are calling for Gina Carano to get rehired and brought back onto the Mandalorian series. It's best described that many Lucasfilm artists, designers, animators, and even some writers are taking it up with Disney's higher-ups to get Gina Carano rehired for The Mandalorian Season 3 and put back in the story as Cara Dune. Now, creator Jon Favreau is said to have actually tried to get Gina Carano back on board of the Mandalorian series as well by requesting some of the Disney board members to actually think it over and think about it. Many of these Lucasfilm employees that are calling for Gina to be rehired and raising their voices to Disney are those working on the Ahsoka Tano series as well, with Dave Filoni, that is set to be released sometime in either 2022 or 2023 on Disney+. Other Lucasfilm employees that do not support Gina Carano are said to actually have a grudge against those that do support Gina and stand for her, hence a division between employees over at Lucasfilm, creating a very complex work environment, which could very well clearly be seen on a creative level with the new upcoming shows that are set to have different tones. Gina Carano is set to give more major interviews next month, leading into June as well, about Lucasfilm and the leadership over at that company, such as Kathleen Kennedy. Now, let's go over something here that's very important that a lot of fans need to know. Given that a lot of Lucasfilm artists, designers, animators, writers, and so on and so forth are calling for Gina to be rehired, this just goes to show you exactly how many over at Lucasfilm do support Gina Carano and actually want her back on board with the Mandalorian series. And really, can you blame them? There's a lot of fans out there that are the same exact way. There's a lot of fans that support Gina, there's a lot of fans that do not support Gina. It's pretty much the same exact scenario here over at Lucasfilm. You've got some loyal to Kathleen Kennedy, and you've got others loyal to Jon Favreau and Dave, and as well as George Lucas. And That's pretty much a given because you have a lot of older, employees over at Lucasfilm that were pretty much there since a very long time ago, and it just makes a lot of sense. The newer employees, obviously, they're going to be more sided with Kathleen Kennedy, ones that were essentially hired for the sequel trilogy and the Disney Plus TV shows and such. That's also going to have a division. The thing that really strikes me the most about all of this is that Jon Favreau also tried to keep Gina Carano on board of Season 3 of The Mandalorian, and even tried to convince the Disney board members to keep her on board and rehire her. So here's the thing about Jon Favreau, is that you can see that publicly speaking, alright, he's very afraid to make a public announcement about his support of Gina Carano. Obviously, there's a lot out there that don't want to do that because they feel that a lot of fans would turn against them. We do know that Carl Weathers is one that supports Gina Carano, but yet he has not made like a big official statement on video or on an actual article. We have not seen Carl Weathers like that. Behind the scenes wise, yes, he does support Gina Carano. In fact, he low-key did this on Twitter, where he actually added her name on a Twitter post. I'm sure that you guys remember that. It was maybe a month and a half ago when he did that. Carl Weathers, I think he tried to sneak his way through there, that he does support Gina Carano publicly speaking. Here's the other thing, is that John and Dave are already well through the Mandalorian Season 3 script. They're already doing a lot of major rewrites, so even if they were to be successful of rehiring Gina Carano as Cara Dune, I don't think it would happen with Season 3, sadly. I really don't. At best, it would be Season 4, which, by the way, both 3 and 4 are being worked on back-to-back. These two shows, or these two seasons, are being worked on back-to-back to really give fans, a really continuous type of storyline that's going to work well together. Season 3 and 4 are best described to be the Mandalorian seasons that are going to promote other shows out there that have yet to be announced that will be this fall, leading into Star Wars Celebration of 2022. So keep your eyes open for that, because that's going to be a big deal as well. The other thing about this is that Gina Carano is going to be making more interviews in May and June. I've said this time and time again. It's very likely that it's going to be Joe Rogan. Let's not forget, they're both fighters. They both have been. They both really love to fight. And it just makes a lot of sense, and they have a lot of similarities. Joe Rogan really does have a vast mindset, so we can see her very well going on that show on Spotify, if Spotify even lets her at that. So we'll have to wait and see exactly who it is that's going to be interviewing Gina in May and also in June. So, like I said, guys, obviously there's a lot of fans out there that want her back. There's a lot of fans that want her rehired, including Lucasfilm employees. A lot of Lucasfilm employees, animators, writers, designers, tons of people out there. So, like I said before, Jon Favreau is yet another one that wants Gina back for The Mandalorian. Obviously, because he is the one that created the character. He loves Gina because she supports the character well, and it's a very grounded character. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.